that. We need to be better on third downs. But we just need to consistently stack plays together. I think the second half we came out great. I mean, we obviously scored right away, had a nice drive that obviously stopped on 4th and 1, and then had a long touchdown drive. And then again in the fourth, we had the interception and everything. We know how the game ended. I think it's just guys consistently doing their jobs. Me making sure I'm doing a good job of stringing the right plays together, making sure our guys have the best opportunity to be successful.
And is that something, when you talk about converting third downs, is that something? What can you do to help that, or where are those things at?
It's a combination of all of it. I got to make sure that I'm making the right calls where we're protecting the quarterback. The ball's coming out. Best opportunity to get number one open, and then we got to make plays when they're there too. So it goes hand in hand.
For the coaches, do you view this game as, well, let's see how the quarterbacks play, and then we'll decide what we do with Wentz or Heineke as far as starting them after that? I mean, is this game like a deciding factor?
I think you always, you look at everything. Ultimately, that'll be coach's decision. We'll have conversations about it. We got to wait and see when Carson, is healthy. So that's going to be, a lot of that's going to be up to the trainers before we even put in that situation. Right now, we're really just focused on, getting Taylor ready and getting the rest of the team ready to go play obviously a good Philly team on Monday night.
And what's your level of concern with J.D. McKissick? And secondly, how do you fill that void?
I don't know as far as the level of concern. I'm going to leave that up to the trainers. I know that they're looking at that, and we'll end up we're going to see on that. That is out of my level of expertise. But it's a group effort. I mean, Antonio's got to be the big guy. That fills that void. He has that skill set, so he's got to step up. And then and then because of that, that takes away some of the other stuff maybe that Antonio does. So then B-Rob and Jonathan have to fill that part of it. But it's a group effort.
How are you seeing Brian handle running the NFL now that we got 4 or 5 games of a sample to look at?
I think he's doing well. I think he can continue to be more decisive. I think sometimes maybe he sees a little bit too much, and he's a big guy, and then when that takes away his speed, it makes it a little bit easier to tackle. I think just the more he plays, the more he's going to get comfortable, and he'll continue to play faster and faster, and that his speed, but also his physicality will even show up more and more.
And if Tyler isn't able to go, we saw him on the side today. Would it be Nick Martin there at center?
Yeah, Nick would be the next guy up. I think Tyler. I think Tyler's going to be all right. He's just kind of getting through some stuff, and giving him that day just to kind of get his body right.
Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. That challenge of just the interior, is that kind of item number 1 on your list this week?
I mean that hit them, but then the guys on the outside are pretty good as well. That front is very good. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They move guys around. They try to create one-on-one matchups. So we got to do a good job of making sure, again, we're in the right blocking schemes against them, and that we block them. That we play physical and we come out of the gates with that mentality.
What would it mean to have Jahan Dotson back this week, and how does he look? He was a full participant.
I think it'd be huge. I mean, you guys saw Jahan, obviously when he, played early in the season, and, he had a knack for getting in the end zone and making some big plays. I think he's on track. I don't know about, for sure this week, but he's getting healthy, and seeing him move around is good. So it would be big to get another playmaker out there.
And then going back to Nikki's question, if you look at it statistically, this offense has performed better with Taylor over these last 3 games than Carson. Just what do you make of that disparity? And
I think there's been some up and downs, with both guys. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with who you're playing. That has to do with it. Plus, it's a team sport, so the other guys around them, how they're playing as well. And we'll evaluate everything, and we're not there at the point where we have to make a decision like that. So again, that'll be up to coach ultimately, and we'll see as we go.
Is there anything from the first game that you want to focus in on tidying up this go around?
Yeah, I think we had way too many negative plays that killed drives. Obviously, we can't turn the ball over, putting our team in a bad situation, giving them a short field. we got to do a good job. Like I already talked about their front. We got to handle their front, and it's not just obviously we got to block them, but we got to help those guys out with getting the ball out. Guys got to get open quickly. We can give them some help with some of the other players. Again, change schemes on them, all those types of things. But that's the thing. We got to do a really good job up front handling that group of guys up there and how well do they play.
We talked about Taylor before, undrafted guy. Some people always wait to he loses, they write him off. Is there anything you tell him about riding these waves of big win in Indy, devastating loss, trying to
Yeah,
steer through that?
I think that's just this league. Nobody feels good when you lose, no matter how close it was or whatever the other team's record or anything like that. And you always look back, and I know Taylor's replaying some certain plays in his head, and as am I. But he's a mentally tough guy, and he's been through a lot. His biggest thing is he just doesn't want to let his teammates down. He wants to be out there and make the plays to help this team go out and win. And I think we all feel that way with our individual roles. That's what being part of a team is like. And but he's tough, and he'll battle back, and he'll go give everything he's got on Monday, and he won't let the other stuff affect him. We always have those conversations. Hey man, like, just go play and be you, and you're not going to always make the right decision. You're always not going to make the right throws. But if you try to overthink it, like, you're not going to make any plays either. So he'll bounce back.
How do you go about with Sam Howell, who's obviously one play away from playing, but still needs that development? There different things you do with him before, after practice, anything?
Yeah, obviously he's part of all the meetings. He does all the scout team stuff, so he's getting work as far as just the physical act of playing football. And then we'll give him some reps here and there, like we've done with backups in the past. When you're at this point of the season, there's not a ton of reps, but he's doing a great job of focusing in. We get some stuff, like you said, before or after practice. And he's really an impressive young guy as far as just what he's doing, the work put in. And I think if he would have to play, he'd play well and handle himself accordingly.
Where's been because obviously we haven't seen him in a couple months. Where has he taken any jump or steps?
Well, it's hard to say like a big jump when you're just practicing, but just his overall, what's been impressive to me is just the overall understanding of, at least as far as when we have conversations about it, of the offense, being a rookie, just understanding the intent of what we're trying to get done, regurgitating it back, and just the seriousness of which he conducts himself.
Last thing with Terry, one of the things he talked about, like how he felt he made a lot of growth personally this year and all that, and handling some situations maybe better. Do you see that? Like, can you tell that with him, or can you see him handling anything better than he has in the past?
I don't know. I've always been really impressed with Terry. He's always such an even-keeled guy. We talked about like some of the emotion he's shown on some of these past games, which is a little bit out of character, which I loved it. I loved it when he got fired up, after some big plays or after his teammates made some big plays. But no, he's always been, a guy that, there's been a lot of times where he hasn't gotten the ball, or he maybe beaten guys on routes, and we've seen, guys blow up in that situation, and, I've never even seen a hint of that with him. And so maybe he's just talking about internally, because he does a great job hiding it, if he's having those issues.
All right.
Good. All right, guys. Thank you.